I got unexpected money from about 3 different sources. One of them was like over 5K, and that was not in my plan. Hi lovely, welcome to Start Somewhere with Isabel, your self-investment podcast created to empower you to fight fear, cultivate confidence, and become your most empowered self. No matter the goal, whether big or small, this podcast will give you the motivation to start. Quick disclaimer before we start, this show is only for those committed to self-growth and self-investment. So, if you're ready to start with the first step, not the entire staircase, as I always love to say, let's start somewhere together. Hello, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Isabel, and I'm so grateful you chose to click play and spend the next few moments with myself in a new episode. This is all about how to plan and organize your time effectively. It's all about being booked and busy with the right things. So I thought we could do a bit of a plan my week session with me. I'm going to run you through my diligent and notorious Notion weekly planner template I have been working on and tweaking for weeks and weeks, and I love what I've created. I'm going to walk you through what I do every single Sunday or Saturday to plan myself for the week ahead. For those of you who don't know, I do a bunch of different things and projects and jobs, and I'm all over the place, really, in the best way possible. I am a social media manager. I co-own an agency. I also do freelance social media work for myself. I work at a digital marketing agency. I have this podcast. I have my coaching clients. I'm very active. I go to 3 gyms. I'm very into self-development and spirituality, and I'm always down to have a really fun time with my friends and go out and about and try the latest restaurants and go for walks and go to cafes and connect with new people all the time. I go to a lot of work events for my job at my marketing agency, so I'm constantly meeting with a lot of industry professionals. And I essentially do a lot of things. And so to do all these things is all about planning. And I'm a very, very organized person. I love organization. It's like a hobby of mine. I love it so, so much. And so I thought this could be a really cool episode idea, just to run you through exactly what I do every single week to ensure that I really stay on top of everything it is that I want to achieve. So as this episode goes live, 3 days ago on November 15th, Saturn turned direct during a full moon in Taurus. What does this mean? So we are aligning divine timing with material mastery. So key themes of communication, learning, and self-expression are what this full moon was all about. So the Taurus full moon brings the most beautiful grounding energy. Taurus is an earth sign. It's all about nurturing and establishing and fostering abundance, security, and emotional balance. So think of anybody that you know in your life who has their birthday around the end of April and the start of May. These people are Tauruses. These are very grounded, similar to Capricorn energy, very grounded, hardworking, stubborn as hell. But that's not always a bad thing. And so we have the energy floating around this sign. And as this episode goes live, as I shared, 3 days ago is when Saturn turned direct during this full moon. So I'm sharing a few astrology updates for our November episodes, and I've actually planned a lot of the episodes to align to come out based on what is going on in the astrology world, because I love that stuff, and we can really use it to our advantage and, number one, manifest quicker. That's what next week's episode will be all about. But also how to just coast through life and feel more aligned and just feel better based on what energies are happening around us. We really can use it as a hack into our advantage. So before we get into the episode, I love to share something I've recently started to show you guys that I'm a walking, talking embodiment of Start Somewhere. And something I've recently started in my life is my social media agency. I shared this just before. So I do social media management and also content creation. I've been a social media manager professionally for about 5 years, working at different agencies or working in-house for brands. I've always had freelancing on the side, no matter what I've been doing in my career. But recently, as I'm now part-time at the digital marketing agency I work at, I think I've mentioned that a few times, I have picked up more freelancing on the side. So I am firstly a co-owner of an agency with a wonderful girl that I've met quite recently. We really just connected quite instantly, and I am a co-owner of the agency called Media Aesthetics Agency that's based here in Adelaide. At the moment, we're working with a bunch of hospitality clients, and I also have my separate freelancing agency where I am doing a lot of social media work for a lot of the industry professionals I'm meeting at a bunch of these networking events I go to. Social media is something that all businesses need, no matter what industry you're in, and I'm quickly learning that. My clients range from literally all walks of life, all different businesses, from a water company to tradies to solar to hospitality to fitness, health, everything. Everyone needs social media if you are a business owner. And that doesn't have to be this typical Instagram. It can be LinkedIn, it can be blogging, it can be long form content, it can be absolutely anything. So if you have a business and you need social media help, or if you know somebody who needs that, let me know. I've got 2 agencies, depending on which fit is best for. And that's something I've recently started, and I've been loving it because I'm back to doing all the things that I love to do, business, entrepreneurship, social media management, content creation, like it's all just flowing amazingly. I am going to give a quick shout out for the amazing review of the week for the podcast. This one is short and sweet. It's from a listener called Dion. Dion, I've actually met him quite a few times in Adelaide before. He says, truth, not just motivational and inspirational, but Isabel and her guests drop gems. Thanks so much, Dion. I love your feedback. It's simple, it's straight to the point, and it's true. My guests do drop gems, bit of a tongue twister. I am going to be sharing, if I have not already, flashback episodes on the podcast where I am re-uploading previous episodes I've done with some wonderful guests and influencers. Think of names like Georgie Stevenson, Samantha Daly, Mindspo. If you know what Mindspo is, it's a meditation company. I've interviewed a bunch of incredible names, some big names as well on the show. So I'm going to be featuring some Flashback Friday episodes coming up for the new listeners, if you weren't around when they went live, and even for the older listeners, for the OG listeners, a bit of a refresh because, it's nice just to hear something perhaps we've already heard before, but we more often than not, we gain something new from each time. So I'm really excited for those. Let's get into this episode, guys. Let's get into weekly planning. This is exciting. I'm going to be running through my weekly Notion planner. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is identify what are your non-negotiables. Then carve out the time for them. So is it things like your health, your fitness, your friends, your family, things outside of your normal working business routine? So for me, my non-negotiables are my health and my fitness. So I plan a lot of my week around, first of all, where am I in my cycle with my hormone health? And then secondly, what workouts, what gym routine, what fitness I want to be doing that week. And I actually put it in my calendar, whether I'm going for a walk, a hike, a Pilates class, a gym class, whatever it is. And I then actually go and look at, okay, where am I at in my cycle? And what foods are best going to support where I'm at? What foods are best going to balance my hormones? What foods are best going to help me feel my best? Am I in a phase of my cycle where I can intermittent fast more? And so I don't need to worry about planning my breakfast. I can go straight to lunch. What foods should I be focusing more of in my lunch and my dinner? What snacks am I going to be craving? How can I choose, or how can I opt or create a healthier option of those snacks? There's always a time of the month where women, we crave chocolate a stupid amount. And so instead, how can I start to choose a healthier option for that? When you actually crave chocolate, it means you're lacking magnesium, which to me means eating more almonds. So how can I start to include more almonds in my snacks throughout the day? Then how can I indulge in a really beautiful chocolate treat because I deserve it and because why not? Maybe it is a low sugar or low carb option, or maybe it's actually going to Haigh's and buying chocolate, which I realize I do this a lot. If I'm ever at Burnside Village, which is where one of the Haigh's stores is, I cannot go to Burnside Village without going to Haigh's and spending money on chocolate. It's a problem because Haigh's chocolate is not that cheap. But I actually put a lot of my money there and I love it. My camera just stopped recording because my phone storage was full. That's never happened to me before. I think I was rambling on about Haigh's chocolate, so I think that's a sign to stop talking about that. So identifying what your non-negotiables are is really important. And then basing a lot of your weekly routine and habits around that. Number 2, identifying, you guessed it, your goals. So for me, my focus, looking at my non-negotiables, health, fitness, friends and family, for example, as well, I'm all about balancing my hormones right now. So based on what foods I'm eating, how I'm nourishing my body, what exercise I'm doing, I'm being incredibly mindful about what my health and fitness routine looks like each week, depending on where I'm at in my cycle. And it's actually incredibly interesting. If you have never really delved into hormone health before or how to balance your hormones through your food and through your exercise and through your routine. And then number 3, start, stop, stay. So this is something that I created many, many moons ago, and it's something I still do quite often, where essentially I look at things in my life that I want to firstly start. So maybe it's a new habit. Maybe you love the idea of balancing hormones like I just shared, or eating a certain food, or exercising, or going to a gym class, or whatever it is. What is something you want to start doing? Okay, now what are some things that you want to stop doing? Maybe it's eating really late at night. It's scrolling your phone too much. It's engaging in a certain type of conversation. And then lastly, what do you want to stay doing? So it's all about celebrating the things that are actually still working out for you. Maybe you're loving your morning routine right now, or you're really loving the Pilates studio you go to, or the fact you're going for a sunset walk with your friend, or whatever it is. What are these things in your life that you are really enjoying to do and you want to keep them around? Because that is really important, and that is what is going to set you up for the week. So now I'm going to run through my Notion planner and just let you know how I actually put all of this into action. So I have my template that every single week I just click on a little button and it repopulates itself. It has all the templates there, and I essentially get to fill in the blanks. It's actually a lot of fun. It doesn't take me too long either. So I start with my weekly planning. I start with my health. So I identify where I'm at in my cycle, what foods I should focus more on, less of, what exercises I should do. And then this then leads me to planning my workouts. So I go to a Pilates studio. So I ask myself, have I booked in my classes for the week? Am I doing 1? Am I doing none? Am I doing 3? Depending on what exercise is going to best support my body. I then look at the timetable for the other gym I go to. What classes do I want to do? What is best going to align with the week I have ahead? And you best believe I plan it based on when I'm washing my hair, based on what events I have on that week. So do you see how it's all like so tactical? And this could probably sound like pretty crazy to people that don't do this, but I'm just so methodical in this way. This is the only way, is when it comes to organizing my week and my schedule. So I'll look at, okay, what work events do I have on this week? Or what event do I have on the weekend? When do I want to wash my hair? When do I want to put on fake tan? And I actually plan this. So I know that, okay, Thursday night I'm doing this, or Friday morning I'm doing this. And it just ensures I can show up as my best self, look my best, feel my best, be my best. And honestly, it's working out for me in so many ways. So I have a look at that. And this is all based from where I'm at in my cycle, right? Because this is my number one focus, is my health. Then I look at my content for the week. So I'm very active on LinkedIn. If for those of you who don't know, I think I've mentioned that a few times. I batch and plan all of my LinkedIn content well and truly months in advance, but I just do a bit of a cross check. I just double check all my posts are scheduled. I might even reread some of them just to see if I still like the wording of it. I look at then my podcast. Do I have my episodes scheduled? And do I have my short form content ready to promote the podcast? Yet again, everything is always scheduled, and I'm very rarely doing my content for the week. That week, I do it weeks in advance. Even my Instagram, I either have captions ready to go in my notes. On my phone, I have a folder of photos that I want to post to Instagram, and I have it in a little grid so I can see it because I do love things being aesthetic and all pretty. So I have that just to have a look, and I just cross-check. I'm like, okay, am I posting to Instagram this week, to my personal account? What do I want to post? What feels good? I have a look at a caption, or maybe I actually have a post scheduled already on Instagram, and I'm just doing a bit of a cross-check. Then I look at my money. So my finances and my expense tracker, I track all of my income expenses, all of my income and my expenses. I actually go through my bank app and I really get quite intimate with it. And I have been doing this practice for about 4 to 5 months now. And I have made so much money by doing this because let me share something. Because I'm so intimate and intentional, and I'm really aware where pretty much every single one of my dollars is going, I am so mindful to what I'm spending money towards and what is actually going to give me an ROI essentially. And what I mean by this is I know when to invest in certain things and when to pull back, when to save more, when not to save more. And I set money goals for the quarter. I find monthly is too short of a time frame for me. I set big money goals for the quarter. You know, maybe it's saving an extra 10K or an extra 20K or 5K, whatever it is I'm working towards. And I get really clear on my money goal. I get clear on why I want to earn this, why I want to create this amount of money, save this amount of money. What is it for? And then I backtrack. I look at, okay, this is my weekly pay. This is my weekly income from clients. This is my weekly income from XYZ. And then I look at my expenses each week and I ensure that I'm not overspending. And I also ensure that I'm saving a certain amount every single week. And I have a bunch of reoccurring payments going into all of my different savings accounts. I highly recommend this so much. I don't even touch transferring money. It does it all automatically as soon as my pay goes in. So that way all my savings is done and dusted. It's in separate accounts. I don't touch it and I can focus on the money I have to play with essentially, to put towards things that I really value. And I actually even allocate money towards things like getting my nails done and my hair and shopping. And I have that all in an account for me where I know, hey, this is designated money for these types of things because I value it. And if I see it go up to quite a large amount, I'm like, oh, a shopping spree sounds fun right now. I know I'm not taking out of money that I don't actually have or that should be going towards bills or other expenses. I'm using that out of all my fun money, I call it, that I can put towards these things. And it took me a while to find a system that really works for me. And I highly recommend you find your own system because what works for me won't always work for you. It, of course, depends on, how frugal are you? How much do you like to save? How much do you spend? What are your bills? What are your expenses? It all is variable based on these things. So I essentially have set this up and then every single week I review it. I track my money. Yet again, this might sound kind of crazy to do, but it really is working for me. And I find that when it comes to the energetics of money as well, being intimate with your money is what has really helped me expand and grow my income in such a way. I set such an audacious goal for myself in quarter 3 to accumulate a certain amount of money. And I had no bloody idea. I had no idea how I would be able to save that amount of money. It actually didn't make too much sense based on what money I was earning at the time. And then this is the best part about the universe and manifestation. Because I was clear, I had set this goal, I had backed it up, I knew why I wanted it, I allowed the how to disappear. And you best believe, I reached my goal a month before I even planned to. I got unexpected money from about 3 different sources. One of them was like over 5K. And that was not in my plan. And that's the thing. It's not up to you to know the how. It's up to you to know the what and the why. What do you want and why do you want it? And then the how, you just let it go. Yes, it's that simple. But when you are aligning yourself every single day, you're aligning your thoughts and your actions towards this goal. So every single week, I would review my expenses. I would go through my bank app. I would record where all of my money was going. I would actively be putting savings away. I was doing the work essentially. Reading money books, consuming money mindset courses and podcasts or whatever it was at the time. And then all this unexpected money came in that enabled me to reach my goal a month before. Like, are you serious? That was not part of my plan. That was not in my little goal setting. Achieve goal month before and exceed expectations. And so it's worked for me in such a way. And so I really want you guys to do that as well. Know your what and know your why, especially when it comes to money. Guys, don't play it small when it comes to money. Set yourself a goal that feels audacious, but not ridiculous. Okay, if you've never saved 20,000 before, maybe start with 10 or 5 even, or whatever is somewhat realistic, but also stretches you a little bit, okay? That's what you want to do. You may be like, yeah, if I do save X amount every week, I'll achieve X amount. But just stretch that a little bit more, because when you can align yourself to more, the universe will give you more. It's as simple as that, okay? So I review my money. And then things like connection and self-care. So as I mentioned, quite literally planning when I'm washing my hair, fake tanning if I want to fake tan, which is pretty much every single week. I love fake tanning. And even things like catching up with friends, because it's so easy for us to neglect this or just not put it as a priority in our life. And instead we just fixate and focus on being so busy that we can't even see the people that we love. And so I really love to carve out time or reach out to a friend that maybe I haven't seen in a few months and just say, hey, let's catch up for lunch or a dinner or a walk or a coffee or whatever it is. You know, whether it's low maintenance or it's a whole day thing, whatever that looks like. But actively putting in effort to maintain friendships is so crucial and so important, because the older we get, the more busy we get and the more we just put other things in front of us. You know, my friends are now getting married and I'm sure friends will soon have babies, and then there's weddings to plan and there's mortgages and there's houses and I'm so tired from work and I'm so stressed from work and the washing and the cooking, and like, I get it. I was there. I get it. There's so much to do always. There's always house chores and there's always money to put away for the mortgage and the rent and the bills and the food shopping and planning dinners. But this is why you plan your week all the time. It enables you to actually have the time to sit and just relax and be. And you're not drained by the time the weekend comes or the end of the evening. You have that time for yourself to do the things for yourself. And so this is just a snapshot of my weekly planning. I really want to do a whole goal setting session as well, because a lot of my goals that I plan for the quarter really then dictates what I'm doing each week. So we're essentially working backwards. So we have our yearly goals, and then we separate those into quarterly goals, and then we separate those into monthly. I call them like monthly actions, because I feel having the goals, it's a bit too restrictive for me. Yet again, you find what works best for you. So monthly actions or monthly focuses. Like at the moment, what I've been doing every single month for 2 quarters now is reading 1 book a month. And I'm trying to work towards reading 2 books a month now. But for the first 3 to 4 months, I was just doing 1 a month, and that was my focus. So we're gradually increasing this. And then when I wanted to do more Pilates, it was doing 2 classes a week or whatever that looked like, and just allocating time so that it aligns with my future self. It aligns with what I want to be doing in the future. And I guarantee this time next year, my monthly actions or my monthly focuses will be very different to what I'm doing now, because I will have continued to grow upon them. You know, I'll probably be reading 1 book a week because I'm just such a bookworm these days. I love it. So I would love to do a goal setting episode. Let me know if that's something that you guys would love. You can DM me on Instagram. All the links will be in the show notes of this podcast. Let me know if this is something you actually want. If not, I won't actually worry about it. But I'm going to leave it on this point here. I hope you found some value, some inspo, some insight into this weekly planning session. I've actually never really done something like this on the show. So if you liked this little insight into how I do things, let me know, because I have a whole Notion dashboard that plans my whole entire everything to exist, from when I was looking for a house, applying for jobs, doing online courses, of course, the weekly, monthly planning, goal setting, daily planning, my money, even like tracking things that I want to buy, weekend errands, like everything is in my Notion. It's my little baby. I love it so much. And I've really just tweaked it every single time I've I've downloaded a few templates, but then I just tweak and adapt them to make them my own, put my own little flavor on them. So if you want more little Notion Insight template episodes and goal planning episodes, please don't be a stranger. As I mentioned, all my links are in the show notes, and let me know via DM if this is something you want. So if this episode inspired you, it would mean the world to me if you could please leave our show a rating and review. Your feedback actually helps the podcast grow and reach so many more amazing listeners just like you. It helps us in more ways than you could even imagine. So if you are on Spotify, I believe you can swipe up, press the 5-star review. I'm not too sure if you can leave a text review, but I know on Apple Podcasts, you can leave a 5-star review along with a little caption, a little text insert onto what really inspired you about the show. It will take less than 2 minutes of your time, and it will help us for many more episodes, seasons, and years to come. Thank you so much for starting somewhere with me today, my lovely.